Hey y'all, I'm Brooke Hoover, a Louisiana native, actor, writer, and comedian. I've lost 100 pounds through diet and exercise, or shall I say, lifestyle changes. My 20-year and counting health journey has taught me that just like taking a diet pill for weight loss, body positivity doesn't magically happen overnight. I'm working on regaining my self-esteem and rekindling my love affair with Cajun and Southern comfort food in a healthier way, all the while juggling eating as clean as I can, reestablishing myself in the entertainment industry, which, as we know, is historically fat-phobic, all the while showing my inner fat girl some love. That's fat with a PH. Pretty hot and tempting. Let me tell y'all a tale or two.
Step right up, folks. Step right up. Come witness the biggest freaks of the freaks you've ever seen. They say two heads are better than one. Well, right here we have the two-headed man. He sure is freaky. And if you're looking for a lobster roll, don't go down the boardwalk. We got something better right here. Lobster boy. He's got claws for hands. But those two freaks don't compare to the freakiest freak you've ever seen. Behold, ladies and germs, the bearded lady. A woman's not supposed to have a beard. How can a woman grow hair on her face? She's tried shaving it. She tried getting the lobster boy to claw it off. She's tried everything, but it just keeps growing back. Isn't she a freak, folks? Step right up. So, y'all, after seeing this documentary called Luna Park about the whack job of an amusement park at Coney Island way back in the day, I knew for a fact that in a past life, I was definitely Carnie folk. I thought it was probably a mermaid, like the mermaid in a mermaid tank at the Carnie show, because I love mermaids, or maybe lobster girl, the closest equivalent to mermaid, because, you can't always get what you want. But while watching this movie, Luna Park, in American history class sophomore year at Episcopal High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I knew that I would actually be relegated to the bearded lady. Y'all, see, my hormones and my PCOS, before we knew it was PCOS, which is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, where basically your female body produces too much testosterone. That's it in a nutshell. I have many more episodes dedicated to PCOS, specifically a few that are strictly for learning more about PCOS and what I've been doing to work with and against it. My symptoms were out of control. And one of the symptoms is facial hair growth in females, hirsutism. And while I didn't have a beard, I had like these really bad sideburns, almost like mutton chops, really. And like a few hairs on my neck and chin that also made me feel like I belonged in a freak show. But I didn't have a way to market my talent to be a female who could grow unwanted facial hair. I didn't have a guy barking for me, step right up, and making money on my mutton chops. This plagued me, and my mom tried to help me figure out ways to remove the hair. I've also discussed hair removal in past episodes of this here podcast. And back in the day, we tried waxing my unwanted hair unprofessionally. Didn't work out so well. We tried Nair, and let's put it this way, it may help you wear short shorts, but that stuff should never be used on your face. And we tried waxing it professionally, which did work, but temporarily. Laser hair removal was new back then and hence expensive, but my mom used some of her savings to help me get it. Laser hair removal is best on lighter tones, hence generally Caucasian skin with no moles, while I point to my plethora of moles, and on people who have dark facial hair. It's gotten better since then. The technology in laser hair removal's gotten better since then, but in the late 90s, it was kind of screwing over a big part of the population. And my skin is light. I'm Caucasian, but I have moles and freckles And my facial hair wasn't super dark. It was more like a dirty blonde, like just dark enough to be annoying, but not dark enough to like properly completely laser off. Had my facial hair just been like platinum blonde, like peach fuzz, we're not even talking peach fuzz here. I would have never even minded that. I used to at some point say, I just wish I had peach fuzz. But along with being at least 2 times the size of most of the girls and boys in my school, like size-wise, body size-wise, having the ability to grow this facial hair was a real sore spot for me. And like I said, the laser hair removal worked on me somewhat. But figuring out that I had polycystic ovarian syndrome and being able to manage my symptoms helped me with the facial hair even more somewhat, because, you know, you can't just put a Band-Aid over the wound. You have to really figure out what's causing the issue. And being able to get to the right flow for myself, and yes, I mean weight-wise, I also mean period flow. I mean the whole flow of the body. Weight loss was not the sole purpose of getting on track with my symptoms. I did all this with a very clean eating system and exercise regimen, which was what really, really helped me keep the worst facial hair growth at bay. Obviously, that combined with laser hair removal. But y'all, despite my ability to swim in the ocean, even with riptides, despite me working so hard to remove the unwanted hair, I still felt more like the bearded lady than the mermaid or lobster girl. And they say life imitates art, or maybe is it art imitates life? But one day I got an email from my agent back home in New Orleans while I was actually on another set up here in the New York, New Jersey area. The email was to audition for the one and only Ryan Murphy's American Horror Story to portray, get this, y'all, the bearded lady. They wanted someone who could do like a mid-Atlantic accent. So while I was on the set, I started doing my best Jackie Kennedy voice in my head and on breaks. And the audition was due the next morning at 9 a.m. Y'all, that accent, that mid-Atlantic accent I just did, it sounds more Australian. Anyways, so I rushed home from the one set, and I actually got a speeding ticket in Piermont, New York. I'm not kidding. It's one of the most beautiful, quaint towns. My mom and I had such a fun time going back up to like try to fight the speeding ticket and pay it. And my mama had the self-tape stuff ready to go. So when I finally got home at 11:30 p.m., we taped the audition. And God bless Mama for doing that and nearly every single one of my auditions since. But despite me giving that audition my all, I'm trying to say all like in a mid-Atlantic accent, because I think she was supposed to be from Maryland. Anyways, despite me giving it my all, and most importantly, swallowing my pride of never wanting to be a bearded lady, when Ryan Murphy wants you to be a bearded lady, I think you should kind of jump on that freak show opportunity. But needless to say, I didn't book the part. I found out later that the part was for flashback scenes to basically portray a younger Kathy Bates being the bearded lady in the American Horror Story, the freak show season. So the second time I was asked to audition for a bearded lady role. That's right, folks. This Freaks has been invited to audition for not one, but 2 bearded lady roles because she's that much of a freak. I was kind of over it. I mean, it wasn't for Ryan Murphy, first off. It was for a SAG short indie film, and it did sound wonderful, and it paid, but it kind of like just sucked my joie de vivre because I had worked so hard on getting rid of my sideburns and not being that girl anymore, if you will. I was still trying to embrace my fatness, my pretty hot and temptingness, despite unwanted facial hair. I just wasn't feeling the role. But y'all, I'm always one for an acting opportunity. And like I said, it was a paid gig. It was a union gig. And my manager was like, Brooke, you're doing this. So I told myself, Brooke, you're doing this. I auditioned for the role and I booked it. Yay. And the film's called Crocodile Boy. And it's about a crocodile boy who's retired from the circus and entrapped with two other retired circus freaks who can't really re-enter the real world. So they're not trapped in their circus cages per se, but they're trapped in like, oh wow, I'm just now realizing this. This is a metaphor for my life. They're trapped in their own life, if you will, because they can't really re-enter society. There's the strong man, and then, of course, there's the bearded lady. And I entered this project, kind of sad to say, a little begrudgingly because I just felt defeated. Now, mind y'all, like I said, I've never had a beard, but I had really bad sideburns. And at this point, my sideburns have been fried off and never really came back thanks to me being so loyal to laser hair removal. But that fear and negativity and self-consciousness were, and kind of still are, still inside me. They're still a part of me. I get to rehearsal for the film, and the director is named Ruben, a wonderful, kind soul. And his partner, who's portraying the lead, the crocodile boy, is Jet. Wonderful, wonderful people. And cast as my strong man, my husband, is the one and only Olin Montgomery, a friend of mine from sets of yore. Olin asks me if I want to rehearse a little bit more on the side, and I say, no, Olin, I can't. I'm super busy. I wasn't really that busy. I just really wasn't feeling it, even though it was and is a beautiful film. We arrived to shoot the film several days later, and it's pretty cool. It's an Airbnb in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, that they've rented out on a legit houseboat, which makes sense that the circus freaks would be living on a houseboat, right? Olin's dog, Mr. Al, aka Big Al. He's also been cast as our circus freak show dog. And the makeup artist, who has an extensive portfolio of doing special effects makeup, starts applying the beard to my face. And it kind of feels surreal. All the hours, all the creams, all the wax, all the lasers, all the smells of hair burning and frying, all the money I put into getting this stuff off my face, I'm putting it back onto my face for the art of it. I'm allowing this to sink into my pores, literally and figuratively. And I keep telling myself, Brooke, get over it. You're getting to act with wonderful people on a wonderful project on a houseboat. Brooke, you're getting to act. You have the opportunity to act. Get over yourself. But my fellow actors especially may feel me on this. That's not as easy. And the makeup chair can oftentimes make or break your psyche. At least that's what I've noticed. That's been this recurring cycle for me. We shoot the film and we wrap, and that's that, as most films are, like most circus freak shows, packing up and on to the next one. And I'm mad at myself afterwards as the makeup artist helps me remove the hair from my face. That's actually going to be able to be gone for good, unlike all the other facial hair in my life. I'm mad at myself for not enjoying the moment more. Remember how I told y'all Olin had wanted to put in some additional rehearsal time? Olin, the strong man. Well, in April 2020, I realized after the fact, way after the fact, I should have said yes to that opportunity because Olin passed away due to COVID-19. He was healthy, mindful of his body, so much talent, so much passion. And I could have had some additional fun times with him, but I was so self-involved in my own prison, if you will, in my own docked houseboat, if you will, that I didn't allow myself that. Now I've moved on from laser hair removal because it doesn't work on all types of hairs that I have. Coarse hairs, blonde hairs, dirty blonde hairs, wiry hairs, mole hairs, oh my! I have begun doing electrolysis because it can go into the mole hairs, it can get any kind of color hair. And while the electrolysis is slowly working, it does cause bruising, which oftentimes is probably more noticeable than the hair I was trying to have removed in the first place. I still have a little bruise here on my chin from about was that 2 weeks ago? Oi. But my skin feels like the skin of a porpoise. That's my porpoise impression. I think it's much better than my mid-Atlantic impression. Maybe, just maybe, somehow I'll get closer to being the mermaid girl in the freak show that I always wanted to be. So, y'all, I think the moral of this hairy tale is that there comes a point when we, and by we, I mean I, of course, just have to let a lot of like these hang-ups and caveats and baggage and fears and things we hold on to as like some sort of badge of honor. We have to let it go in order to live in the moment, in order to be truly fat, pretty hot and tempting. I took being cast as a bearded lady personally because I was worried about my own health conditions, which caused me many years of being called Sideburn Lady, which is actually a ripoff on an Adam Sandler movie, so it's not very original of the guy who called me that back in high school. So many years of touching my face to find a rogue hair to pluck. Many years of telling myself I wasn't beautiful, I wasn't worthy because I didn't look like the hair-free girls in the magazine ads. When maybe I should have just looked at it as, you're being cast as the bearded lady, Brooke, because step right up. You're the best bearded lady in the world. You're the best bearded lady there ever was. Take that, Kathy Bates. Only kidding, Mrs. Bates. Ms. Bates? I so admire your work.
Thanks so much for listening, y'all. It is my hope to inspire, uplift, and entertain you with this Who's Dat Fat Girl podcast. So, if you're hungry for more, you can book me to speak or perform my solo show that inspired this podcast, Fat Girl Costumes, written by yours truly and directed by Brian Lady at your virtual or in-person event. Please visit brookehoover.com/fluffybuttproductions or email me at contactbrookhoover@gmail.com for more info. And let's follow each other on Instagram. I'm at Brooke Hoover, and the O's in my name are not the letter O, they're zeros. Not because I want to be a size 0, but because I guess I'm just so clever with my late 90s Yahoo self. And if you like this podcast, which I really hope you do, please give me a 5-star rating and write a review on Apple Podcasts. And most importantly, share this with your friends, family, and other people you may know who are as fat as we are. That's fat with a PH.